And Hokie Homer turned Husker, Nathan Brennan.
Everyone knows that I'm the smartest person here.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Nate.
Welcome into On the Block on a Monday. A very happy Monday to all of you. My name is Nate Brennan. He is the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, remote today. He's going to catch a big game tonight, a little Monday night football action, but we still got him on the stream. So go ahead and check us out on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can see what's going on here in studio, see what's going on for Strick there in New York. And if you head over to YouTube, we appreciate you. We officially have hit 3,000. Shout out to everyone on the YouTube stream. What's that? 2,000. Oh, excuse me. We've hit 2,000. I got really excited there for a second. I was like, okay, we hit 3,000. 3,000 is the new goal. Speaking it into existence today. So if you head over to YouTube, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. 402-464-5685 Honda of Lincoln Hotline. Starter Heyman text line. You can reach out to us on those platforms as well as usual. Strick, what's going on? Strick, you got to unmute your mic here real quick.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
okay.
There we go. What's going on?
Everything is going good. Most of the guys have shown up, flew in this morning. We're going to have a nice group of guys that are getting together down at Hidden Creek, just south of Philadelphia, in between Philly and Atlantic City. Going to get together and have a group of guys play a little bit of golf. But tonight, we are going to the Cowboys-Giants game. So we're going to be live and in color to see one of the great linebackers evolving, and that's Micah Parsons and Saquon Barkley, also a Big Ten alum. So those guys are going to be joining us, catching up with them. We're going to go to the game a little bit later on tonight.
Nice. Definitely sounds like it'll be a good game. I'm really intrigued, too, because, like you said, Saquon Barkley, a Big Ten alum, really having a turnaround season. I think he's officially right now the favorite to win Comeback Player of the Year, probably to no one's surprise. So that'll definitely be an interesting NFC East matchup. 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln Hotline. Strick, we'll get into all that, get into some NFL talk here later in the show. But something I wanted to start with, it'll be a pretty short first segment. Our crossover, our spillover went a little long, but we'll go ahead and keep this conversation rolling. A big thing that I wanted to talk about was kind of the Big Ten this past weekend, because obviously no Nebraska, but we will face off against Indiana here on Saturday, a night game, homecoming, and Nebraska opens as a 3.5-point favorite. And it was kind of intriguing, kind of interesting to me. And the biggest thing I want to bring up in this segment, and we'll get into the rest of the Big Ten afterwards and kind of get your reaction, Strick. I don't know really how I feel about that, and I'm a little bit concerned because I don't know if you saw, Northwestern at home drops a game 17-14 to Miami of Ohio. That now marks their third loss in a row. Dropped the game at home to Duke, 23-31. Dropped a game at home to Southern Illinois, 24-31. And then now Miami of Ohio, 14-17. So Nebraska and Northwestern sit at the same record at 1-3, and Northwestern's only win now being against Nebraska, despite facing two teams. Southern Illinois, I believe, is an FCS school, and then Miami of Ohio, obviously, in the group of five. Does this concern you? Does this worry you? What's kind of your reactions from the start to Northwestern season?
It is. It kind of is disappointing, right? Yeah. Especially, I would say it's even more disappointing being that I was out there and I saw it happen right before my eyes, right? I knew, we knew, everyone knew that Northwestern was not a very good team this year, right? They did get some of their linemen. They did get some of their linemen back. So obviously it's the first game. It's 0-week game where you don't know what to expect. You know that you're dealing with a good coach, but it's still a game that you should handle and get and take care of because they're just not that good. And we're seeing it. That's what's disappointing. We're seeing a bad Duke team take care of them. And then you're seeing a Miami of Ohio team who was 1-2 coming in and 0-1, and they take care of business in Northwestern. And that's what's so frustrating about all this that's happening right now in this whole debacle of a season for Nebraska. But there's still hope, right?
Yeah.
They're still 0-1 in the Big Ten West. I mean, outside of Minnesota right now, they're the only ones that do look like they're pretty dominant in the conference right now. I mean, they handled Michigan State very handily. And Michigan State is not necessarily a great team. I think Mel Tucker benefited from some of the leftovers, definitely the running game that they were able to have coming out of it, and just some of those things that they benefited from, which helped them to have a really good season. But they're not very good. And Minnesota handled them very easily. And so Minnesota is probably one of the toughest right now out there. Iowa did play good. It was surprising at how well they played against Rutgers. But, I mean, that's something that we'll dig into a little bit later. But it is very frustrating to see right now with Northwestern taking that loss.
Yeah, it's certainly frustrating, but there is some positivity and there's some good that comes out of it, Strick, and we'll definitely get into it. Before we go to commercial, just want to point out, too, what's really interesting is that Northwestern, like we said, they dropped a game to Southern Illinois, and then kind of a full circle moment, Southern Illinois went on this past weekend to beat North Dakota 34-17. So it's just kind of one of those full circle moments. It's very fascinating to watch Northwestern essentially fall apart after that Nebraska game where Ryan Hilinski.
They look good.
They look like a
Heisman Trophy winner.
It was ridiculous, but a lot more to break down in the Big Ten, including Wisconsin losing big, Michigan State, like you mentioned, losing big, and then Indiana against Cincinnati, who definitely in a bit of a rebuild this season after going to the playoff last year. They get absolutely smacked by Cincinnati. So there is hope. Nebraska opens as a 3.5-point favorite. We'll break all that down, go through some more of these Big Ten matchups, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that guy over there at Kansas State that we know good and well. Big win over Oklahoma this weekend. We'll get into all of it right here on the block. 937 The Ticket.
Lincoln loves local business. What better way to support local than to drink local? Don't miss Lincoln Craft Beer Week beginning September 26th and continuing through October 2nd. You can't go wrong with 14 different local breweries, cideries, distilleries, and more putting on events to get you familiar with Lincoln's craft beverage scene. For more details on participating venues and Lincoln Craft Beer Week, visit lincoln.org/beer tour. Brought to you by the Lincoln Convention and Visitors Bureau. Remember to enjoy responsibly.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit ASBMidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, then Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
From selling a home to even building one, you're doing a lot and need a lender who can help you do it. Like Jennifer Peters of Security First Bank.
There are a lot of ways we can work to find the best fit for your situation. Let me help you explore your options.
Mortgage lending from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 505011 and 616194.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Guys, I just had my weigh-in over at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping after my second 10-week session over there. Since I started with them in April, I've lost 70 pounds. No pills, no starvation diets, just the proven method at Farrell's using kickboxing, strength training, nutrition, and personalized coaching. It all starts with their 10-week challenge. The next one begins on October 1st. Reserve your spot and get half off by mentioning the ticket. You can get all the information at fxblincoln.com, and I'll see you at Farrell's for the 10-week challenge beginning October 1st. Join now for 50% off.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. My name is Nate Brennan. He is the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet Eric Strickland. 402-464-5685. That's the Starter Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. As always, we want to hear from you. We want to know what's on your mind because a lot happening in college football and a lot to discuss in the Big Ten. You can also check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I have a request. If you head over to YouTube, go ahead and give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe. We just hit over 2,000, and we're looking for more. Our goal is now 3,000. Help us reach that goal, please. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your cousins, tell anybody you know to go ahead and subscribe to YouTube, our YouTube page, 93.7 The Ticket. You will not be disappointed. Again, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. Strick, let's start breaking this down because a very interesting week in the Big Ten. And I'll go ahead and start out with Cincinnati and Indiana because obviously we're going to be facing off against Indiana this upcoming Saturday night game, by the way. Good homecoming matchup. Indiana starts out their season 23-20 with a win over Illinois. They then go on to beat Idaho, barely escape Western Kentucky 33-30 in overtime at home. Then they travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats. That one looked pretty rough. The score wasn't even really too much of an indication. Going into the halftime, it was 38-10 Cincinnati. The final score ended up being 45-24. What are kind of your takeaways from this Indiana squad? Because as it currently stands, they are 3-1. I think every Nebraska fan out there would dig a 3-1 record right now, but Indiana kind of got exposed against Cincinnati. Like, this is not a good football team. this is offensively not a good football team. Defensively, not a good football team. Like, the window is open for Nebraska, and I know that it's tough to find hope in these situations, but genuinely, I don't know if I would find, outside of maybe Northwestern, we all know how that went, I don't know if you could find a better matchup here than Indiana.
I would have to agree. Indiana basically is not a very good offensive team because Cincinnati's not a dominant defensive team, right? They have some dominant pieces. Some of their linebackers are good. The Pace brothers are really good, but outside of that, it's not nothing that they do specifically well on defense. I mean, they're not a dominant defensive team, right? And yet Bazelak only completed under 50% of his passes, plus he was only a 42.5, 43 QBR. Crazy, right? They have no chance. Outside of Cam Camper, there's nobody that they have is spectacular on the offensive side of things, right? Their run game is so abnormally basic that there's nothing that they do well. And so I'm saying to myself, if Nebraska falls short, I don't know what to say, bro, because there's just nothing about Indiana that's scary. There's nothing frightening. There's nothing about Indiana that would pose a major threat to us. But we said that about Northwestern. So at the same time, I'm at a come and see mode. I'm at a show up and let me peekaboo. I mean, peek around the corner and check in the door and see if there's something going on the other side. That's what I'm on right now. I'm not looking for Nebraska to do anything. I'm just hoping that they're able to perform and take advantage of a bad Indiana team.
Right. And for what it's worth, too, Indiana kind of running back you in a sense. I mean, they go from Jordan Howard to Tevin Coleman to Stevie Scott, and you kind of expect Indiana to at least pound the rock. That's kind of been their bread and butter in the Big Ten over the past decade or so. And that's really just not the case. I mean, for what it's worth, they ran for 1.5 yards a carry, or 1.8 to be exact. Now, Connor Bazelak did have
only 2 sacks.
Right. And Connor Bazelak
and only
had
2 sacks.
41 rushing. I know. And it's one of those things that, like,
come on, man.
This offense is honestly garbage. Like, it's bad. And we know the black shirts have struggled, especially the secondary can kind of be a big part of that. Even you can throw the front seven. Honestly, as a whole, the black shirts have looked terrible. If there's an offense to turn it around on, it's Indiana. Like you said, Strick, Connor Bazelak threw the ball 66 times. 66! And completed 31 of those passes, averaging 4 yards a pass.
Yeah.
Like, they exposed themselves against Cincinnati for what they are. And
Cincinnati's not that dominant. It wasn't like they're playing it wasn't like they were playing Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Any type of defensive team like that, there's nothing spectacular about this Cincinnati team. They're not dominant on the defensive side. They were potent on the offensive side last year. And obviously that's what they did. But man, Nate, I'm just like, 2 weeks. I mean, you've had 2 weeks now. You've had 2 weeks of film. You've had 2 weeks to get yourself together. You have 2 weeks to perk yourself up and pick yourself up off the ground to get out of the shade room. You had all these different things now for 2 weeks. So if you do not show up for this game, I don't know what to say.
I agree. I don't really know where to go from there. And Todd says currently Nebraska is also not a good football team, which I don't necessarily disagree with there, Todd, but I think there's something to be said for what Strick was saying is you look at Indiana, they are traveling, they're going down the road to Cincinnati, get absolutely shut out, like not shut out in the literal terms, but basically smoked. They go into halftime down 38-10, and you're exposed offensively. And if there's ever a game for the black shirts to gain some confidence and for Nebraska to kind of move forward in the Big Ten, because for crying out loud, like, it's crazy that we're sitting here saying, yes, Nebraska is a 1-3 football team. Nebraska is a 1-3 football team, 0-1 in the Big Ten. Your next matchups are Indiana, who looks absolutely terrible, Rutgers, who could only score 10 points against Iowa, gave up 27. Now, granted, the two of them were turnovers from the defensive side of the ball. That's just kind of what Iowa does. But Iowa blows you out 27-10 at home, and we already know what Iowa's looked like this season. And then you play Purdue, which Strick is going into my next point. Purdue barely gets past FAU at home, 28-26. Like, I know that we're kind of sounding the alarms, and I don't blame any of you for doing that. Nebraska has not looked good this season. I'm not going to be here and defend Nebraska, and I'm not going to defend really anyone on the defensive side of the ball. But you look at these games, like FAU's defense had a chance to beat Aiden O'Connell. We heard about this all season. I know Iowa's arguably one of the best defenses in the Big Ten. Rutgers scored 10 points. Like, if there was ever a 3-game stretch where you could be confident in at least some type of confidence in Nebraska, Strick, it seems like these next 3 games. Did we lose you there for a second, Strick? All right, I think we lost Strick there for a second. Hopefully we get him. I don't know if he's going to log out of the StreamYard and then come back in. Oh, Strick, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, right, absolutely, man. It's I heard what you were saying, and the gist of what you were saying is absolutely. I mean, it is a perfect synopsis. It is a perfect setup. It is everything that is perfect. This game right here hinges upon what you're hopefully either going to see going forward, or it's going to be a detriment to what you're going to see and be disappointed about with regard to Nebraska. Either you're going to see an absolute turnaround of things and things are going to start to reshape. There's going to be energy. There's going to be fire. There's going to be passion, or there's going to be the same old. And so here's the problem. The schedule is going to show you what is left. These next 3 games are all gettable. You're absolutely right. Everybody that's on the text line, everybody that's streaming in, Dion Pryor, all of you guys, BJ, all of you guys are basically letting me know that right now is the time. If it don't do it now, there's nothing you can tell me about my Wisconsin. There's nothing that's going to change down the line. There's nothing that's definitely going to change in the big house. So at this point, these games are especially these next 2 are imperative as far as what you're going to see or hopefully see regarding the Big Ten West.
And I think, too, we can kind of come to an agreement. Minnesota absolutely smacks Michigan State.
Minnesota's the one. They're the ones right now. They look like they're the ones. And PJ Fleck absolutely loves sticking it to Nebraska as much as possible. So they're going to be, but you don't have to see them right now. You still got some preparation time. You know what I'm saying? Right now, your butt hurts. You got some preparation H time. You freaking better apply it and apply it right now, because this is the only time you're going to get to do it. Because when you show up towards the tail end of this schedule and you ain't got it right, ain't no getting it right. It's too late.
Yeah. And that's why, for what it's worth, Minnesota, we'll go over that real quick before we head to break. On the road against Michigan State fans, unfortunately, calling for Mel Tucker's head. That buyout
already? God dang, they just was loving the man just a second ago.
Michigan State fans have seen enough, and Michigan State, starting at 2-2, made a Peach Bowl appearance last year. For what it's worth, won the Peach Bowl. Now, Kenny Pickett didn't play for Pittsburgh. I don't believe Jordan Addison did as well, so that might have gone into it. But you got to look at Michigan State's trick. I mean, they enter the season ranked 15th. You drop a game on the road to Washington. Washington looks like a pretty good team.
They're looking
Minnesota,
good.
At home, Minnesota made you look like maybe the worst team in the Big Ten.
Irrelevant.
Like
you were irrelevant.
Embarrassing. Like an embarrassing loss. And Michigan State's coming from Mel Tucker, and that's, again, going to be a really, really expensive buyout.
That's a lot of cheese-ola. Yeah. You got to pay a lot of cheese-ola to get out of that one. Right. Yeah, you might be stuck with that one, my boy. So I don't know what you're going to do with that one.
I don't see that happening anytime soon, simply because of the money. I mean, you got a 10-year, $95 million contract. Again, I don't know what the buyout is, but it's probably going to be expensive.
Here's the correlation. This is why we see that it don't work. Here's the correlation. Both Nebraska and both Michigan State did one thing that they have in common. Nate, can you tell me what that is?
I'm not sure, actually.
They both were heavy in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Both of them were heavy. So that goes to show you that heavy transfer portal action does you no good. You can have a moderation of it, you can have pieces of it, but you need foundation. You need core. You need a unison at the bottom in order for the house of cards not to fall. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you build a house of cards, you don't just build it like with a thin foundation. You build it with a large base. That's what Nebraska doesn't have. That's what Michigan State doesn't have. And you try to jump in the transfer portal in order to mitigate that problem, but you can see it don't work. So I would venture to say that if Nebraska hopefully doesn't go heavy. Hopefully this was the foundational pieces will begin to accumulate on the recruiting grounds, and all of those that came in will begin to see and solidify so that they can become better. Because of the transfer portal don't work.
You need that foundation. And for what it's worth, Strick, when you talk about that foundation, Tanner Morgan, it feels like that guy's 35 years old at this point. He throws for 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, 97 QBR.
23 for 26, my boy. He was having rock'em sock'em. He was just rock'em sock'em them.
And that's the thing, too. In Minnesota, it looks like their offensive line is as advertised, too. They average 5 yards a carry on the ground. Looks like Minnesota's probably your team to beat in the Big Ten West, because real quickly, Strick, as we go to break, Ohio State beating Wisconsin 52-21. Players wearing Apple Watches on the field. I mean, not taking Wisconsin seriously, literally at all. So there's a window for Nebraska. Listen, I'm not saying Big Ten West champions, but that 6-6 number that we're all trying to get to, make a bowl game, the window's open. It's there. It's definitely something to watch, especially
Illinois 3-0. Illinois 3-0 in the Big Ten.
Yep, it's something. It's all something to think about. Also something to look at. Shootout with Strick is next. Go ahead and give us a call, 402-464-5685. $15 Buffalo Wings rings on the line. Coming up next on The Block.
Casey's General Stores is giving away 2 tickets to each Nebraska football home game this season. To enter, just head to any Casey's General Store location in Lincoln during the football season, scan the QR code at the front counter, and fill out the online form. One winner will be chosen at random 2 days before that week's game. So head over to Casey's, stock up on all your tailgating snacks and drinks, and register to win 2 tickets to a Nebraska football game, brought to you by Casey's General Store and 93.7 The Ticket. Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Imagine your next staff meeting. Now imagine your next staff meeting with a side of ribs. Your next client presentation, or that same client presentation with brisket and baked beans. It's better, right? Let Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul take care of all of your business catering needs. Feed the staff, cater your next event, whatever you need, Mary Ellen's can help. They can even host your events in their brand new event space located right next to the restaurant. Go see for yourself. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake, or online at maryellens.com. Let them fix you a plate.
It's time again for Lincoln's Best Oktoberfest, the 7th annual Piedmont Oktoberfest, October 8th from 5 to 11 p.m. Enjoy dozens of beers, amazing local food, live music, costume contests, stein holding contests, yodeling, and more, with tickets starting at only $33. Live music by the B Street Band, provided by Aloe Fiber, and safe rides home, provided by Z-Trip and the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office. Get your tickets today at the shops at Piedmont.com. Use promo code The Ticket to receive 10% off your complete order. It's the Piedmont Oktoberfest. The shops at Piedmont.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking in Louisville. Right now, our pre-owned sales are off the charts, and we have loaded up the lots full of inventory. We've got a great supply of Sierras, Silverados, Tahoes, Yukons, and crossovers. Plus, we've got a great supply of back-to-school cars just in time for the big day. Don't forget about all of those new 2022 and 2023 units arriving every day as well. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit asbmidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
In today's day and age, people are trying to do more and more projects by themselves. That might be better on the wallet, but it can also lead to painful sounds like this. Ow! Poor guy, trying to do wiring all by himself. Let's have another listen. It's just not worth it. Don't hurt yourself or make things worse than they are already. For any of your electric needs, call Joe at Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
Guys, I just had my weigh-in over at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping after my second 10-week session over there. Since I started with them in April, I've lost 70 pounds. No pills, no starvation diets, just the proven method at Farrell's using kickboxing, strength training, nutrition, and personalized coaching. It all starts with their 10-week challenge. The next one begins on October 1st. Reserve your spot and get half off by mentioning the ticket. You can get all the information at fxblincoln.com, and I'll see you at Farrell's for the 10-week challenge beginning October 1st. Join now for 50% off.
Warhorse Casino is looking for trailblazers for every department: food and beverage servers, environmental services, cage cashiering, revenue auditor, IT, and more. Find your winning opportunity at our job fair, Tuesday, September 27th from 3 to 7 at the Lincoln Warhorse Gaming Office, 3730 South 14th Street. Every employee is treated like family, and every role is essential in creating a one-of-a-kind experience. For information on openings and job fairs, go to warhorsecasino.com.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
You heard that correctly. It is time to play the game. Your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you got to do is beat Eric Strickland at his own game. So go ahead and call us now, 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline. Again, your chance to win $15 Buffalo Wings and Rings. We do it every single day right around this time, around 2:45, 2:50-ish. Yeah, we give you a chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. I won't say the category real quick, Strick, because we do have someone on the line, and I know you don't like people using Google, obviously. But Texter also says, and I completely forgot about this, Mel Tucker's contract completely guaranteed, so probably not great there for Michigan State. Again, I don't think they're going to fire him, but fans certainly not happy over there in East Lansing. All right, we're going to head to the Honda of Lincoln hotline where we have Scott. Scott, how you doing today?
Good.
All right, Scott. The category today is the AP poll as it currently stands. The updated AP poll came out, I believe, yesterday, or maybe it had been this morning. I believe it was yesterday. So we got the updated AP poll rankings. And as you know, Scott, go ahead and stay on the line. You know how this works. We got to get Strick's answers first, see how many points you have to get in order to win the chicken. And as always, Strick plays for the people. So no matter what, we're going to be giving away $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. But Strick, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we will start in 3, 2, and 1. They remain the highest-ranked Pac-12 school, USC or Utah?
USC.
That is correct. This Big Ten school jumps into the rankings after beating Michigan State, Iowa, or Minnesota?
Minnesota.
That's correct. They dropped 10 spots after losing to Texas A&M, Arkansas, or Washington?
Arkansas.
That is correct. They only dropped 1 spot after pushing Clemson to overtime, Pittsburgh or Wake Forest?
Wake Forest.
That is correct. And for the sweep, they fall out of the AP poll after losing to Texas Tech.
Texas.
Strick, I will say you mean business today. You are trying to get the champ is here. I know that's been on your mind.
You know what's been on my mind.
I know exactly what's been on your mind. That was, I will say, that was pretty impressive. A couple softballs there, but a couple of those were actually pretty tough. I thought you were going to struggle with the Clemson one and also the Texas A&M one, but you've been watching your college football this past weekend. Scott, you got to get 6 to force it to overtime, force it to the tiebreaker. How you feeling?
Well, I better be feeling strong.
All right. Well, Scott, you know what? For what it's worth, I believe in you, and Strick is definitely feeling a little confident over there. He's giving me the head nod over on the stream. But, Scott, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We will start in 3, 2, and 1. They become the second ACC school in the top 10. NC State or Florida State?
NC State.
That's correct. They were bounced from the top 25 after an embarrassing loss at home. Miami or Washington State?
It'd be Miami.
That's correct. This Big Ten school remains just outside the top 10. Wisconsin or Penn State?
Penn State.
They remain at 19 despite beating Wyoming. BYU or Ole Miss?
BYU.
That's correct. And for the sweep, they make a jump to number 8 after beating Florida.
Oh, who beats Florida? That'd be Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Impressive at the buzzer. Scott, that is correct. Strick finishes with 6 points. Scott also with 6 points. We will go to the tiebreaker. Impressive stuff there, gentlemen. I have to go ahead and give both of you this real quick. Boom, shakalaka. I'm not sure if we've ever had both guys sweep. That was impressive. I'm very impressed. Okay, so Scott, this is how it's going to work. Strick is going to end up saying a number. So I'm going to give him the question. He'll say a number. You have to say whether it is over or under. So, Strick, are you ready for the question to win the chicken? Yeah. All right, so Ohio State, after the AP poll comes out, they're still the only Big Ten school with first-place votes. How many first-place votes does Ohio State have?
Four.
Scott, I'm sorry to tell you.
Boom, shakalaka!
Strick is correct. Ohio State has 4 votes to be the number 1 overall team in the country. Scott, we appreciate you put up a very good fight, I will say. Did not expect Strick to get that one. Scott, there's still hope. Go ahead and hang up now. The 4th caller, and 4, that's our lucky number today. The 4th caller will still get $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Shout out to Scott. I will say that is a tough way to go out. Strick is feeling himself today. I'll go ahead and give him a shout out.
Boom, shakalaka!
Finish him. Give you this one, Strick.
Flawless victory. Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
That was a very impressive showing, Strick. I will say that 4 I thought was going to get you to slip up. Impressive win. I will say, too, you will get your champ is here tomorrow. I know you like to air pocket a little bit whenever you're back here on the show. We'll give you the champ is here. That officially makes it 3 in a row. Impressive way to do it, Strick. I don't know if you've ever gotten every single one right and then gotten the tiebreaker question right. That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that either. So, you know, I don't know who that favors for tonight, the Cowboys or the Giants, but we'll see. Whichever one it is, whoever wins, that's who it favors.
Number 2 seems like number 4 seems to be our lucky number here because I don't know what something about 4 today. I'm feeling that. So if the Cowboys or Giants have any relation to 4, I have a feeling that's going to be the team that wins. Shout out to Scott. Shout out to Strick. Very fun day here for Shootout with Strick. That was pretty impressive. The champ is officially back. The champ is here. Strick will get his intro music moving forward throughout the rest of the week until someone defeats him and gets the chicken, $15, Buffalo Wings and Rings. We got to take a quick break. The next hour of On the Block, on the other side, we got NFL talk. We have Brian Munson to break down Nebraska versus Indiana. We got Jay Foreman. We got DP in studio. Still a packed show for you right here on the Block. 93.7 The Ticket. Stay with us.
An entire week celebrating Lincoln's Craft Brewers is just around the corner. September 26th through October 2nd is Lincoln Craft Brew Week. Head to lincoln.org/beer tour for a complete schedule of events at your favorite local establishments. Brought to you by the Lincoln Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals. Nebraska fans, it's almost time for college football season. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln is a proud donor of Nebraska Athletics. Brokers Insurance Agency is located at 33rd and A Streets in the heart of Lincoln. At Brokers, they can help you with all your insurance needs. Let them worry about your insurance so you have more time to enjoy the college football season. Call one of their licensed agents today at 402-420-5353 or visit their website at brokersinsurancene.com. Go Big Red.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quiltiers, and Brent Excavating.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum. Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. Stand-up forklift and high-reach forklift experience is a plus for open positions, but they're willing to train for those without experience. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We are built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Nate. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
And Hokie Homer turned Husker, Nathan Brennan.
Everyone knows that I'm the smartest person here.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Nate.
Welcome back to On the Block. It is the second hour, and wow, it's been tough in the Big Ten. A lot of things have been happening. We talked about it. We discussed it. We went over it. Go back if you've been on the YouTube stream, the Twitch, Facebook, or Twitter. We have reached 2,000 subscribers, on our way to 3. And now we thank all of you for those who have participated in sharing, liking, and becoming subscribers to the new YouTube, it's not new, but our YouTube channel. We thank you for that as well. A lot of things also been happening in the NFL. Wow, what a weekend it has been, not only for college football as a whole, some crazy games. A lot of people lost a lot of money this weekend across the board. Let's just say that, because a lot of those games were just absolutely crazy. They were tough, but we are seeing something develop out there on the East Coast, in the DC area, out of Baltimore, where it looks as if Lamar Jackson is having a tremendous beginning to the season after turning down the bag, the big money, the big deal. What does that mean for Lamar Jackson? What do you think it means? Do you think he stays? Do you think he goes? Are you buying or selling? But first, let's talk about Lamar Jackson, who is number one in a few categories, but I'm going to have Nate touch and talk about that right now. Nate, tell us about Lamar Jackson. What you think about him? Do you buy or sell him, the front runner right now in the MVP voting?
I'm going to throw that out to the text line, because I'm going to go through a few things and try to decide kind of on the fly here, because I still don't know where I'm going with that. 402-464-5685 Honda of Lincoln Hotline, starter Heyman text line. So Lamar Jackson currently sits number one in passing touchdowns, number one in passer rating. So obviously the knock on Lamar Jackson has always been kind of throwing his passing. And then the rushing side, he's still getting it done. Fourth in the NFL in rushing yards. No, that is not out of quarterbacks. That is in totality. That is all of the NFL. Fourth in rushing yards with 243, 10 passing touchdowns to start out the season. Here's where it gets interesting for Lamar Jackson. And I still don't know if I don't think I'm going to call. I'm going to say Josh Allen's still the front runner to win the MVP. I think the Bills are going to be
tough game for them this week.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Wow.
That was, especially when Miami threw you a bone and kicked the punt into their blocker's butt, which ended up being a safety, and they shut down Josh Allen. Basically did nothing there in the second half. Shout out to Miami. The Tua situation, we can get into that a little bit too. A little bit odd. NFLPA is now investigating to see if they threw Tua out there when he shouldn't have been, possibly had a concussion, slammed his head on the turf, stumbled a little bit too, looked like he didn't even know where he was. He ended up coming back. Dolphins win the game, yada, yada, yada. I still think Josh Allen's the front runner, just because I think the Bills at the end of the day are going to be the better team. Now, with that being said, I think what's so interesting about Lamar Jackson, this is the conversation I always bring up, is the regular season accolades are great. We saw him do it. I believe it was 3 years ago now when he won the MVP. It might have been 2. But then the Ravens, after him winning an MVP, get bounced in the first round. Last year, they missed the playoffs entirely. Lamar Jackson doesn't play. This year, they had a shootout against the Dolphins, where I don't think you can blame it on Lamar Jackson. Their defense blows a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter, for crying out loud. Tua just absolutely shreds him. Strick, I think the Ravens are getting to the point, and whether I agree with it or not, it's up for debate. I think they're going to have to pay him. Like, I think we're at the point now, like, with Deshaun Watson getting a fully guaranteed contract, I think that's the direction that teams are going to take. And that's what I think is really what's going to decide this, Strick, because Deshaun Watson misses an entire year of football. An entire year, does not play, and then goes into the offseason and gets a $245 million contract fully guaranteed. That's going to set the standard. And I think that Lamar Jackson has a case now that he won an MVP. He has won a playoff game. It'll be interesting to see what he does in the playoffs this year. That might decide it ultimately. But he comes into this season, and through 10 games, has 10 passing touchdowns and is 4th in the NFL in rushing. Out of running backs, quarterbacks, fullbacks, receivers, I don't care who you throw out there, 4th in rushing. So I think the Ravens are at the point now they might have to. Now, ultimately, do I think that's the best decision? I don't know. That's to be seen. I want to get some of your thoughts on this.
Well, I think they dropped the ball in not negotiating this quite early. I don't know if I don't know if Lamar Jackson even wants to stay at this point. So I think there's something to watch for him. I think he bet on himself. He refused it. I think you've got to watch for those teams that are in need of a lead quarterback right now. I think you got to probably take a look at even San Francisco. I don't think they bought into Trey Lance. I still think they're not happy with. Could you imagine Lamar Jackson with Debo Sanders and that crew out there with what they have? I mean, so I'm kind of perusing and looking around right now and seeing where there could be a good fit for a need for his services. I think that would be one of the ones that I would be looking at. I think you would also probably not be looking at Seattle. Seattle's probably going to look to get something out of the draft. Maybe Carolina. Yeah. Him, McCaffrey, that crew, they're in need of something. So I would be looking at a few teams like that. You still trying to wait and see. I'm happy and looking around and seeing what they're doing with in Cincinnati, not Cincinnati, but in Cleveland. Jacoby Brissett has kind of been holding it down right now. The Cowboys, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, depending on how they finish out. But right now, the NFC East is shaping up to be kind of weird. I mean, just think about what Jalen Hurts is doing over there right now. Like, he's got them rolling. It's like that was an unexpected thing right there that happened out there in the NFL landscape with Jalen Hurts out in Philly. I think that's crazy what's going on with him. So there's some things that are happening, some tremendous games. The Tampa, the Green Bay game, those things were phenomenal over the weekend. And it's not as dominant as we expected. I mean, it's still going to play out, and we'll see how that finishes up.
Strick, let me ask you this, and as someone that has played at a high level professionally into contract years, kind of prove it years, does it worry you that Lamar Jackson is running as much as he is? I mean, I understand that's what makes him great. That's what makes you want to pay Lamar Jackson, but you just look at historically in the NFL, these quarterbacks that are, I don't even know if I'd put Lamar Jackson as a run-first quarterback at this time, but are as elite as they are because of their ability to run the football.
Well, I think that's
last game, he ran 11 times. Like,
well, I think
that designed to run 11 times, and you're on a contract year. Like, if you get hurt, you're done.
Yeah, I think that's where he's proven us wrong, though, right? He's showing that his capabilities still exist in that realm of being able to run. Offenses are being schemed that way. That is something that Baltimore's really got to look at. They've basically tailored their whole offense and style around Lamar Jackson. At this point, if they do make a change and they don't do what's necessary in order to keep him or try to keep him, then they're going to have to totally do a revamp, and that's going to be hard for them. Lamar, he's showing us that, listen, his efficiency and his ratings are in the top tier of the league. He's basically showing you, like, everything you said about me, I'm going to prove you wrong about me. I'm going to do something to let you know that I'm still that guy. You know what I mean? I can handle whatever business needs to be handled in whatever way that it needs to be handled. I'm going to get it done. And that's what he's showing.
And Strick, what's interesting too is I think we're both kind of, I still don't understand what we're going to do with Lamar Jackson. Like, I think you have to pay him. I agree with you. I don't know if it will be with Baltimore. I think they're going to try and make something work. But after negotiations this offseason, Lamar Jackson, this kind of seems like a screw you situation. Like, you didn't find a way to retain me. I'm going to prove that if I'm not the MVP, I'm at least playing at an MVP level. This one's on you. I kind of want to flip this a little bit to a conversation that we've had a few times when it comes to the NFL. The only two remaining 3-0 teams in the league, the Miami Dolphins with Tua Tagovailoa, and a team that you just mentioned, the Philadelphia Eagles at 3-0. Do you think we've kind of figured out the foolproof plan. Like, if you're going to succeed in the NFL, it's going to be with a rookie quarterback.
That's
it blows my mind that our theory is now literally
is working.
Out.
It's working. It's because you can surround those guys with great linemen. You can protect them.
Yeah.
You can get weapons around them. And that's what some of the guys that are struggling with right now, even to include, I can't really fault what's going on down in Tampa Bay right now. I mean, obviously, Evans was out. They have a couple of their high-level pieces that was absent of this game. So I can't really fault him. I think Tom Brady did the best. He put his team in a position to win the game and to, get that done, even with the lack of weapons that were there. But you're seeing that with Green Bay as well. You're looking all across the landscape, and that's what you're seeing right now, to include a struggling Denver. Now, you could look at this whole thing and would never thought Denver was struggling the way they are, right? You can look at even teams playing phenomenal right now without those type of big bad quarterbacks on it. And look, they're not winning big right now, but just look at how well Seattle's playing right now without Russell Wilson. I mean, so you can just go down and just look at each of those situations and kind of find yourself that modus operandi works, and it's something that people are going to be looking at going forward.
Well, let me ask you this too, because this will be my next point, and this one's a little bit unbelievable. It makes me look pretty bad. We can name this segment where Nathan was wrong, because now the only 0-3 team in the entire NFL is the Las Vegas Raiders. I know we talked at first like Aaron Rodgers was going to be the one missing Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams goes and teams up with his old buddy at Fresno State, Derek Carr. And while they have had some pretty tough matchups, the Chargers, Cardinals, and Titans, for what it's worth, they are now the only team in the NFL 0-3. Do you think it's time to hit the panic button there in Vegas?
I mean, no, not necessarily. I think because of the division that they're in, it doesn't bode well for them, right? I think getting off to that start doesn't help, but it's not necessarily over. They've got to figure it out. They've got a Nebraska type of situation. They've got to go back and do some homework. They got to sit down and get in film and figure out what the heck is going on. But they've had so much craziness and unpredictability and top draft picks, Ruggs and just things like that going on. Gruden. They just had so much turnover and just trial and tribulation going on down there. It's weird. It's just one of these weird things. My thing is Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. How long do you think before they get an NBA team there?
Ooh.
I want to throw that out there. How long do you think? Do you think it's within the next 3 years or 5+?
Now,
but I
does
think
Vegas
something's coming.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Does Vegas have an arena that they could already play?
Yeah. T-Mobile Arena is literally right there in the heart of right across from where usually when I go there, I stay at the Park MGM, right across the street from T-Mobile Arena. It's kind of a nice little area, great restaurants. It's right next to New York, and so forth and so on. But it's a nice little arena. They played some games. They tried to do some test runs by doing some Olympic trial games and stuff like that when the Olympic team was playing. Then you got the aces that are there, but obviously the WNBA doesn't do very well right now as far as
they had a good parade though. Their parade was lit. They had a ton of people there.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. I mean, because it's a very transient city, so I don't know. It's interesting. I just wanted to figure that out. Do you add one or do you add two? What is another city that you could foreshadow or foresee that would be another place to put a team? Do you go back to Seattle? That's something I want to throw out.
Yeah, I think that the Supersonics coming back would probably be your best bet. Now, would they come back under the Supersonics brand? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not really sure why they left in the first place. I would assume it was financially, and Oklahoma City was willing to support a team. Obviously, we see they have some of the best fans in the NBA, so that's probably a big part of it. Well, Strick, before we head into commercial break and get on Brian Munson, I want to get your breakdown of tonight's game. Giants sitting at 2-0. For what it's worth, I did say the only 3-0 teams in the NFL are the Eagles and the Dolphins. The Giants have a chance to be the third team to be in that 3-0 rating against the Cowboys. The Cowboys sitting at 1-1. Obviously, Dak Prescott goes down. Cooper Rush steps in, has a game-winning drive last week for what it's worth. What do you see in tonight's game? I know you're over in Jerry World. You're going to be checking that one out. What are your thoughts on Monday Night Football?
Well, obviously, Daniel Jones, how is he going to play? Not having Dak, what type of quarterback play is going to happen? Obviously they like to use Saquon Barkley in a lot of different ways. You're going to see, is Micah Parsons in the defense going to keep things in order, or is it going to get away from them? Because they got to offense. The offense of the Cowboys got to do a good job of extending of time of possession, of making sure they stay on the field, of converting third down conversions, not getting behind the chains. They have to do that tonight, because otherwise I think it could be some trouble for them, being that they're lacking some pieces that they would hope that they would have.
Yeah. I also misspoke. I want to correct myself. You're actually in New York. I don't know why I was thinking Jerry World over there in Dallas, but in New York. For what it's worth, too, the Giants, Vegas is favoring them by a point, and the matchup predictor has the Giants a 56% chance of winning this football game. Saquon Barkley comes into it with 236 yards rushing and a touchdown. How crazy would it be, Strick? I know you're not a big Cowboys guy, so you're probably pulling for the Giants in this one if I had to guess. How crazy would it be if we're going into week 4 of NFL football and the only 3-0 teams in the league are the Dolphins, the Giants, and the Eagles? That is probably chalk that up as 3 teams that I never thought I would say would be the only 3-0 teams.
Yeah, that would be absolutely crazy, because there's no one could have predicted that, that scenario when you look at it. I mean, the weather's going to be great. It's 71 degrees right now in East Rutherford. I think there'll be a raucous and rowdy crowd, but we're going to see. I mean, it's going to be a lot to this game. Again, Cooper Rush is going to be leading the charge for the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy usually does a wonderful job of getting them ready for games, but Micah Parsons is a freaking menace, and so let's just see how it plays out, man. But you're right, that would be crazy to have two NFC East teams doing that well this early in the segment. We thought they would probably be one of the weakest divisions, but they're turning out to be one of the toughest right now.
Which is crazy, because if you remember 2 years ago, they called it the NFC least, because Taylor Heineke and the Washington football team was your representative out of the NFC East. Gave Tom Brady a fight in the Buccaneers, too, in the first round of the NFL playoffs, which was very interesting. Kelsey has a question before we go to break, Strick. He says, Nate, I'll throw you this to you too, Strick. Do you think Davante Adams has buyer's remorse for taking the check to join the Raiders and becoming a loser like he is now? Still early on, but you have to look at what Aaron Rodgers is doing, playing with his number one receiver now is a rookie, and Alan Lazard, pretty decent. Like, this man, Aaron Rodgers, say what you will, but he has somehow made the Packers into a 2-1 football team, and Davante Adams is sitting there at 0-3. So I don't know if he has buyer's remorse because he got paid, and that's what he was looking for, but my God, this is not the direction that I thought the Packers would be headed in. This is not the direction I thought the Raiders would be headed in.
Yeah. You're looking at ESPN every night and looking at what they're doing right now, and you're like, you know what I'm saying? I thought this was going to – sometimes greener pastures are not necessarily green on the other side. You know what I mean? Sometimes you step across there and it's dry. And it's dry right now over there in Las Vegas, that's for sure.
Which is really crazy, and it's Romeo Doubs is now Aaron Rodgers' number one target. Number 2, at least last night, or against the Buccaneers, Randall Cobb, who is like 47 years old.
He's like old as me. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on in Green Bay, but Aaron Rodgers is doing something right. Maybe it was a good decision for him to stay in Green Bay and let Davante Adams walk. I'm not entirely sure, but it'll certainly be interesting, especially if those are the 3 teams that are sitting at 3-0. For what it's worth, I'm taking the Giants tonight. I think Saquon Barkley's having a good season. I think Daniel Jones fits me in Strick's theory. Guess what? Daniel Jones still on his rookie contract, Strick. I don't know what it is. I think we might be onto something, but something about those rookie quarterback contracts, building a team around him, it's really worked out recently in the NFL, which is very interesting. We got to get into some Nebraska talk. Saturday, 6:30, they'll face off against the Indiana Hoosiers. 3.5-point favorites. Interesting line for the Huskers. Brian Munson will break it all down. We'll be right back on the block.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit asbmidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto on West O. Check us out at PriceRightAuto.com.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Warhorse Casino is looking for trailblazers for every department: food and beverage servers, environmental services, cage cashiering, revenue auditor, IT, and more. Find your winning opportunity at our job fair, Tuesday, September 27th from 3 to 7 at the Lincoln Warhorse Gaming Office, 3730 South 14th Street. Every employee is treated like family, and every role is essential in creating a one-of-a-kind experience. For information on openings and job fairs, go to warhorsecasino.com.
An entire week celebrating Lincoln's craft brewers is just around the corner. September 26th through October 2nd is Lincoln Craft Brew Week. Head to lincoln.org/beer tour for a complete schedule of events at your favorite local establishments. Brought to you by the Lincoln Convention and Visitors Bureau.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer 2 of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room, located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. My name is Nate Brennan. He is the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA veteran Eric Strickland. You can text us or call us, 402-464-5685, Sutter Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. Also check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. If you head over to YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share, give us all of that good stuff. We are now chasing 3,000. We have hit 2,000. We appreciate all of you. You can also interact with us on all of those platforms. Check us out in studio as well. And we're going to welcome in Brian Munson with Husker Online on 3 Sports. Brian, what's going on?
Hey, man, what's up?
Well, nothing much. Kind of enjoying a Nebraska bye week because no matter which way you look at it, I'm going to chalk that up as a win. But before we get into a bunch of Nebraska talk, I kind of want to walk through college football, especially there in the Big Ten. So the first game I want to look at is Northwestern. So Northwestern now starts out the season 1-3. Bad loss at home to Miami of Ohio was their most recent loss. I would say all 3 losses are kind of bad losses. What does this mean for your opinion or the way that you view Nebraska moving forward?
It's tough. You know, Northwestern, we open up against Nebraska opens the season against them and doesn't come away with a win. And it's just, you see these teams now that have beat Nebraska, like Georgia Southern, who loses to UAB last week. Was that right? And Northwestern loses to Miami of Ohio this last weekend. And then it's kind of like the cherry on top. You put Adrian Martinez on Kansas State. He goes down to Norman and knocks off the Sooners, who just got done beating Nebraska 49-14. I mean, it's everywhere you're turning right now. There are constant reminders about basically how bad this season has gone for Nebraska. There's really just like in retrospect, looking back to it, would Nebraska fans be upset? They'd be I think that they would be disappointed, upset. Maybe if there's a carryover and it's just kind of adding gasoline to the ones that were already upset. But if Nebraska's 3-1, it still lost 49-14. I wonder where we would be. I really wonder where we would kind of be right now. And it's just like those are 2 incredibly winnable games in Nebraska. Again, let slip through their hands, and they did it for the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, under Scott Frost.
Brian, here's the crazy thing about it, right? What you just said is absolutely true. But then you look at all that has happened, the firing of Scott Frost, the now interim of Mickey Joseph. You have a bye week. You have 2 weeks now to prepare for a very bad Indiana team, but you can't really overlook it because you had the Northwest situation, and that was a very similar look for them.
Yeah.
Your next 4 games, Brian.
Indiana has done their best to beat Nebraska each and every time they come in, and remember the shade that Scott Frost, threw them at the Big Ten conference call, or whenever he starts talking about, like, we don't play the Indianas of the Big Ten, we play Ohio State every single week, or whatever that quote was. Really, looking back at it, it was so ironic how things kind of then worked forward, and Nebraska began to struggle against everyone. It wasn't just the Ohio States. Nebraska was getting, plenty outplayed by everybody else in the conference. But I think to your point, it's like nothing now can be overlooked. Every week, the slate needs to be wiped clean, and you cannot go back and sit there and think about what else has happened around the landscape of college football to remind you, how this transitive property is basically out there, where Northwestern beats you, then they lose to Miami, Ohio. What does that mean for Nebraska? Georgia Southern beats, then they lose to UAB. What does that mean for Nebraska? They have to go back and wipe that slate clear each and every week and get ready to play each game as it needs to be played. But obviously, this is like the thing I brought up to Nate before the show even started. Nebraska's favored this weekend.
Yeah.
And you just sit there, and I remember watching the Indiana-Illinois game very early on in the season, might even been week 1, and it seemed like neither one of those two teams wanted to win. And it was so bizarre because they just were both just played very, very poorly.
Yeah. And so when you look at that, right, you've squandered your home field opportunities. You literally squandered it because you're going to have more home games than you did away, just so speaking. But you got Indiana at home. Then you hit the road against Rutgers. Rutgers at home is not very easy, although they lost this week. Purdue has looked terrible this year as well. And you got to go on the road to face them. That's a revenge game for you. And then 3-0 right now in conference, you're looking at Illinois. So you've got 3 games, 2 tough road tests before you come back home. We don't know what Illinois is going to be at that point. And you've got 4 opportunities to put yourself in a great position to be in the Big Ten West League.
I agree. I agree completely. It's like no matter what has happened so far, Nebraska still has an ability to kind of right this ship and get things kind of going. I mean, if there's a way to kind of play it forward here a little bit, and like I said, you gotta erase everything else that's happened from the past. You gotta erase everything else that's out there. It's like the 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon, man. Get rid of it. Don't even think about how it applies to you. You have to go out there and just pay attention to anything and everything that you can control. And if you do that, there's still plenty of football and plenty of things to still play for. It's really pretty. Look, I'm going to say this. I don't really mean it. I'm trying to find the better word. It's really kind of pretty bad that things are kind of where they're at, because it just there's some things about like where Nebraska can get to still based on the terrible things that have already happened this season. And it's just like, look, there'd be some really big redemption here if Nebraska can kind of go ahead and turn the page here and start having some success. They need a taste. They just need a taste of it, I think. And I think that some of that stuff, like to your point, with the revenge games that are on the schedule for the teams that really aren't that good, they could be some really confidence builders. There's some teams that are out there though, man, that are trucking. Like I just mentioned Minnesota on Red Sea Scrolls. Yeah. They absolutely just gave it to Sparty up in East Lansing this weekend. So there are some really, really good games and games on the schedule and teams on the schedule. But Iowa, winnable, potentially winnable. Let's say it that way too. There's still some possibilities there for Nebraska.
Brian Munson on 3, Husker Online, joining us right now. Brian, when we talk about the importance of these games, and I think Strick laid it out perfectly, these next 3 games, whether you want to look at it as winnable, likely winnable, possibly winnable, these are games that Nebraska should have a chance in. When you look at this Indiana game coming up this weekend, home game, under the lights, homecoming game, how important is this game when you look at the remainder of the Big Ten schedule?
Huge. Look, I wanted to say anyway before, let's say Nebraska would have started out and they went 3-1. I think that I had circled the Indiana game as kind of that pivotal game that was like one of those things, like if you come off of a loss against Oklahoma, which I think most of us for the most part felt like was going to happen even before the season started. You really kind of have to circle this game and say, That's the game right there that concerns me the most, because if they lose back-to-back, if they lose those 2 games right there, and let's say that they, maybe even worse, they don't get off on the right foot against Northwestern like they didn't, they could be 0-2 out of the gate, going into Big Ten play, looking at traveling out to Rutgers. That would be a tough situation. This is definitely that game that you've got to go back and say they've got to. This is almost like that must-win to kind of try to find any type of momentum, any type of hope of kind of getting things turned back around again when it comes to the rest of the season.
Brian, before we let you go here, I got one more question for you. I'm not sure if Strick does too. How do you feel about the sellout streak? Is it one of those things that, depending on the Indiana game, do you let it die? Do you continue it? Where are you kind of at the current state of the sellout streak?
I'm. It's hard to kind of put me firmly into either camp. I can see it both ways. Personally, from my perspective, I want to keep it going, and this, and I think that the biggest reason why is because it shows that despite the trials, the tribulations, the lack of success that Nebraska's currently had, that the fans are still there, and I know that I know some of that stuff. People will point out quickly that the corporate sponsorships, bought up tickets. There's been plenty of gaps up there in the seats, but all the seats were sold. There just weren't anybody sitting in those seats necessarily at that moment. I get it. There's always technical ways of kind of working around some things, but I for one saw this as some of the darkest times in Nebraska football over the last couple of head coaches, and I think Nebraska fans want to turn the page and get off on the right foot. I like what Mickey Joseph did all week with the recruiting. I think it needs to continue when it comes to the support for what that guy is doing, because I've never seen a guy like this as whether you want to call him an interim head coach or just call him a head coach. He's doing a fantastic job right now, going out there and putting forth some great effort when it comes to getting these guys ready and recruiting and everything else.
Yeah, I think that's the craziest part about all of it, Brian, is that, Mickey, despite the situation that Nebraska's in, he looks like he's fighting. He's still out in the recruiting trail. He's doing everything he can for Nebraska. Lots of things coming up here in the next week. Like you said, a very important game against Indiana. If people want to get a breakdown of all of that, want to get some of the great content from you, how can they do so?
Get on over to Husker Online, on3.com, /teams/Nebraska-Cornhuskers. Get over there. There's a special going on right now. I think it's 12 months for $10 because we're in the middle of a coaching search, and so it's something that On3 is offering to all the people that want to come on over there. Steve Sipple's there, Sean Callahan's there, Robin Washett's there. The list goes on and on. Obviously, their team coverage is second to none. So get over there and check them all out. They'll have the best stuff for you leading up to Indiana and the rest of the season.
Brian, I know you guys got families, so I don't know how you're giving that out for $10 for 12 months, but we appreciate you. Impressive stuff. Great stuff as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Be good, guys. We'll see you.
All right, there he goes, Brian Munson. Again, $10 for 12 weeks. How that works out, I really don't entirely know, but that's what they do over there at Husker Online. They give us all the great content that we need. We got to go into a final break. DP is in the building. Jay Foreman is on his way. We're going to get some of their thoughts because it is a very important week. It is a big week. I don't know if we're going to throw it in must-win territory, but it definitely could help define the rest of this season. Again, Nebraska coming in as 3.5-point favorites at home against the Indiana Hoosiers, who come in at 3-1. We'll get into all of that right here on the block. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
An entire week celebrating Lincoln's Craft Brewers is just around the corner. September 26th through October 2nd is Lincoln Craft Brew Week. Head to lincoln.org/beer tour for a complete schedule of events at your favorite local establishments. Brought to you by the Lincoln Convention and Visitors Bureau. Nebraska fans, it's almost time for college football season. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln is a proud donor of Nebraska athletics. Brokers Insurance Agency is located at 33rd and A Streets in the heart of Lincoln. At Brokers, they can help you with all your insurance needs. Let them worry about your insurance so you have more time to enjoy the college football season. Call one of their licensed agents today at 402-420-5353 or visit their website at brokersinsurancenE.com. Go Big Red.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. We saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brent Excavate.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Empire Fence and Netting in Waverly is now hiring for several positions. They're looking for a fence installer for both commercial and residential, for local projects, and ones that require travel. They also have openings for operators, dirt work, welding positions, and applicants with CDLs are very desirable. If you're looking for a locally operated business that provides excellent work for customers and great benefits and care for its employees, email info@empire-fence.com or give them a call at 402-682-7658. Empire Fence and Netting.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. There is no better place to watch any Nebraska game other than the 50-yard line at Memorial Stadium. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear because I'm grilling up dinner.
Did you get it?
Yes, good job.
So what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. My name is Nate Brennan. He is Eric Strickland, the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet. You can text us or call us, 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. Shout out to all of you on the stream on YouTube. We have officially hit 2,000 subscribers. That means our next goal is getting to 3,000. Help us out. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Give us a share. All that good stuff. If you aren't headed over to YouTube, you can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. All of those platforms. Interact with us throughout the entire show. Also wanted to give a shout out to Gator real quick. He says, Nate, how do you function as a Nebraska and VT fan? It's hard for Husker fans. I couldn't imagine that in Virginia Tech on top of it. Gator, sometimes I don't know how I get by, but we keep it rolling regardless. Tough loss there against West Virginia at home, but the defense looked pretty good, and we got a new coach. There's always a reason to be optimistic, and there's always a reason to be optimistic here at Nebraska as well. And we're going to bring in DP from Old School, little crossover action. How you doing?
What up?
Well, same old. Talking a little Huskers, talking a little NFL as well. Strick's going to Cowboys Giants tonight. So DP, I'll go ahead and ask you your thoughts on tonight, Monday Night Football.
I hope that there are 2 losses. That's the only appropriate response.
Yeah.
I am an NFC East guy at heart. So I never root for Dallas ever. Ever. Like I've never ever had a game where I rooted for Dallas. That remains true. That streak will exist again tonight. I will not root for the Cowboys. I also will not root for the NFL football giants, for the New York football giants. So if they can both lose, I will pop champagne and do a victory dance at home.
Take a tie. Strick, what are your thoughts on the game? Who do you think is going to come out with it? I haven't asked you yet. What are your predictions for tonight's game?
It's going to be interesting because I think that the home team is going to get it done. Unfortunately, I just don't know how the Cowboys are going to be able to fare on the road, tough environment. I think their weapons still haven't gotten together. If they do win this game, it's going to be by the defense. The defense is going to be able to hold them up. Like I said, they're going to have to move the chains. They're going to have to basically get third down conversions. They're going to have a solid game. And so if they don't get that done, then I don't see them getting it done.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting game. The text line, Craig says, so you're saying a tie, DP?
I don't want a tie.
So you want them
I don't want to tie. I want them both to lose. I'm not sure how how it has to work out.
Maybe it'd be like,
but I need everybody to leave that stadium sad tonight.
That's right. Texter agrees with you too. He says, well said, DP. DP, we'll loop you into this conversation because me and Strick were talking about it earlier. So Lamar Jackson now leads the league in passing touchdowns, leads the league in passer rating, and he's tied for 4th in the NFL in rushing yards. That is not quarterbacks. That is the entire NFL rushing yards.
Everybody.
That's everybody, 243 on the ground. Mm-hmm. Is he the MVP frontrunner right now?
There is no frontrunner. They don't give out MVPs in week 3.
Okay.
Stop it.
Yeah. All right.
Stop it. They do that. You can't win it in week 3. But here's the thing. For 3 weeks, he's been the best player in the NFL. That's easy to say. Outshine Mr. Golden Boy, Josh Allen,
Jay's
whoops,
boy. Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
When you get that friction, when friction actually shows up, what do? Mahomes hasn't been that guy. It's Lamar. And I look, at some point, people will have to put down the old narrative, the old thinking that because he's an athletic quarterback, he's a quarterback that can run, that he hasn't had Super Bowl success. Well, there's only like 8 quarterbacks who have. So stop, stop the mental lazy thinking. Let this dude be great. You're looking at a generational talent. That's won the MVP at an early age and has now elevated himself beyond his MVP year. So just applaud that dude. Just go, well done, young man. That like I'm cool with that. He's been exceptional. The numbers don't lie.
Now, follow-up question. Me and Strick were talking about this too. We know that he's going to get paid. I think he's proved that this year. Is it with the Ravens or is it with someone else?
If it's not Baltimore, I may have to really sit out an NFL year.
Ooh.
It makes well, Strick, you've been in on teams that had great players who were the face of the team.
Yeah.
Right? So as a teammate, you're looking at how the organization treats your guy, right? So Baltimore has to do this, right?
Well, this same thing happened, some time ago. I mean, obviously it worked out in Dallas's favor, obviously, because they were able to obtain Luka Doncic. But it's the same premise, though, right? Where they win an NBA championship, and they have the opportunity to retain those specific players that helped them to get there, that established their brand, that took them to the promised land. And they didn't do that, right? They moved on from Steve Nash. They moved on from Tyson Chandler and those groups and didn't bring those guys back. It's the same thing with Baltimore, right? He's helped them to so much success, to helping them to get over the hump. Sometimes they just haven't given them the weapons that they needed. And so he's just had to do a lot of the stuff himself. And so that's why I think you're absolutely right, man. I mean, the voice genesis would trickle down, and Baltimore would have trouble coming out of that, I think, if they don't do it right.
Well, it's how you treat how you treat your best player versus everybody else.
Yeah.
And listen, close your eyes for a second and try to name 3 Baltimore Ravens not named Lamar Jackson. It's hard to do. So, look, he's selling the tickets. He's selling the jerseys. He's building the sponsorships. He's in the community, leading the community. He's doing all the right things by that. And listen, he's not once thrown the organization under the bus saying, hey, it'd be really cool if I had a 1A receiver. It would be really cool, right? Like he didn't say, like he hasn't thrown them under the bus. So give that guy, when you find a guy, treat him like he's the guy. And then move along. Like then you can go and get all the peripheral players and that sort of stuff. But you better take care. What Cat Williams said? You better take care of your star player.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is, to your point, DP, outside of Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson's number one option has been Devin Duvernay. So it's just, which is crazy, which is insane to think, and it was Marquise Brown before that too. So definitely a lot to kind of grasp with that. Strick, before we go ahead and head out and toss it over to the guys for old school, final thoughts on tonight's game. Are you excited? Monday Night Football. You're on mute, Strick.
Monday Night Football, first time in MetLife. I'm absolutely excited. I'm looking forward going into it with a great group of guys, man. We're going to have a great time tonight.
Strick, we appreciate you as always. I know that you're going to be in and out this week. Make sure you stay safe. I guess we're rooting for both teams to lose, so we'll see how that ends up going for tonight. But that'll do it for us on the block. Again, we will be here all week, 2 to 4 o'clock. And right following us is the guys from Old School. DP, Jay Foreman, the Husker Hall of Famer, NFL veteran. They're going to break down Nebraska, Indiana. Interesting game, a lot at stake for the Huskers. Again, they're going to break it all down. They're going to give you all the insight on that one. But that'll do it for us here on the block. We'll catch you tomorrow. See ya.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Richie